So, my first thought is I didn't see that coming. Did not see that coming. There's 2 or 3 incidents where the twist will just blow your mind. It comes out of left field. You did not see it coming. Welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, Kristina. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy smancy stuff going on here. And I don't know where my little papers are, but shouts out to Selena and Zoe Nook and Trudy and let's see. Oh, and Leaf. Leaf. Thank you all for watching my videos. Much appreciative. This is book 18 in the FBI series, in the Sherlock and Savich FBI series. And Sherlock and Savich are our FBI couple, married couple. And it's there's a lot of externals, but there's a small core cast. You really don't have to pay too much attention to anybody but the core cast. There are some externals that come in and visit, but they're just like brief. They're external. We do have, all right, so we have Sherlock and Savich, and this lady, Natalie, she is the ambassador to Britain, the United States to Britain. And she is friends with the President of the United States, and she is friends with the Secretary of State, Arliss. And Arliss's son, Dayton, is in love with Natalie's daughter, Perry. Those are like your 4 little quads. And Natalie's been having some difficulties lately. And a lot of people think she's just making it all up or exaggerating the story. But she was in love and she was going to marry this guy over in England. And an email was sent out saying that she was breaking up with him. And he immediately called her and she said, "No, I didn't send that email. That wasn't for me. I have no idea. It was not for me." But someone leaked that email. The person who sent the email, the fake email, sent it to the newspapers, and the newspapers picked it up. And then when when the guy died in a car accident and an apparent suicide, everybody was like, "Oh, he died because he was depressed over the breakup, blah, blah, blah." And she's like fighting this war with the publicity peoples. Like, "No, we didn't break up. No, he didn't commit suicide. I'm almost positive he didn't commit suicide. You got to look into it. You got to investigate." And the cops on first look, brief look, they're not finding anything. It looks like a standard suicide to them. And they're going to let it go. And then someone comes after her. And of course, they don't find any information to back that up until much, much later. Till the FBI gets involved, till Washington gets involved. And so when she gets run off the road and someone tries to kill her, she decides to come back to the United States, and she does that. So we meet her first. We meet Natalie first. And Davis is the FBI agent assigned to her case. And Natalie is an older woman, and Davis is a younger guy. And they spend quite a few of the first few chapters together. And I'm like, "No, this is not your romance for the book. He's not with her. No." And there's little snippets of the kid in between these chapters. She makes brief appearances for the first couple of chapters, like a high and by situation. And I'm like, well, if he's gonna get together with the kid, then why is he spending more time with the kid? What's with all the mother stuff? And it takes a few chapters. And the story's got to progress. And then the kid becomes more important. Then the kid gets involved. And then the Secretary of State's son, apparently he's a childhood friend. They grew up together. He always thought they'd get married. While she looks at him like a brother because they've always, grown up together. They were neighbors, that kind of situation. They had a familiar relationship. She doesn't see him that way. She sees him like a brother. And the guy is persistently pursuing her. And then when Davis gets involved, he gets a little jealous. And he starts upping the game. And he even asks her to marry him, and she turns him down. Meanwhile, Perry is also a sports writer. And she gets threats at work on her life. And there were some other people involved with that situation. So we get some more stuff with that. And so that's another reason why Davis ups his game with her, because she's getting the threats at work. And she's a sports columnist, and she deals with stuff like that. And she's got a whole network of people. We had the other one, Annie, from the other book, who was also worked for the Post, but she was a news investigator. But this lady Perry is a sports investigator. And it's a really core story. And you're like 20 chapters into this core story. And then you get wham! Absolute wham! An evil person from a couple of books ago is in a mental ward, in a mental institution, tied down to a bed, in a coma. And not only has he woken up, but he's also escaped. And he's been escaped for a week. And they don't find out about it until he's been escaped for a week and is coming after Sherlock and Savich. You didn't see that one coming. And then the attempts on Natalie's life, up. The attempts on Perry's life, up. And it gets more intense and more layered and layered and layered and layered. And you're getting a little high here. It gets a little complicated, and it gets so multi-layered. And you're beginning to suspect that Dayton, the brother-like person, has his motives. You're getting to suspect the Secretary of State has her motives. Because she comes over and she goes, you know, Natalie, they were thinking you were kind of nuts and that you were making all this stuff up and it doesn't look good for the president in the press, and I think you should resign and be a good little girl and resign your post. And then when things come out and the FBI is going, look, this is proof, this is what happened, this is the facts, this is real, this is happening to her. Then Miss Arliss goes, okay, you can keep your job because it means a lot to the president, and you just want to slap this girl. You just want to slap her silly. Are you doing something evil? Are you doing something evil, Miss Abbott? Miss Arliss? Is your son doing something evil, Miss Abbott? Is there somebody else involved that we don't see coming? There might be somebody else. Who are our suspects here? Who is trying to kill Perry and Natalie? And then there's the money trail. Then we discover that Perry has a brother, a half-brother. And Natalie's got a stepson. And come here. Come over here. Come over here. Natalie's got a stepson, and he's in political office, but he's broke. He's dead-ass broke, and he needs money. And Natalie says he's asked so many times that she's not going to give him money anymore. And apparently her parents have bundles and bundles of money. So if Natalie dies, well, then Perry inherits. But if Perry dies, then the grandparents have no choice but to give all their billions of dollars to him. So he begins to look suspicious too. The stepbrother looks suspicious. So we got all these suspicious peoples. And who do we suspect? We've got all these suspects. We keep interviewing these suspects. And people leaving messages and all this other stuff going on in this book. And this is a huge effing book. It's, let's see something. 391 pages. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. 391 pages. And what we saw in the final cut, that was the book before this. It was after Bombshell, and Bombshell came first, then Final Cut, which was the book that introduced Nicholas Drummond. And now we have Power Play. And at the end of Power Play, we have Nicholas's graduation from Quantico. Nicholas does make a couple of guest appearances in this book. So, what we've got to do is check in with Nicholas in book 2 of his series, of the Brit series, before we move on to Similar in Yellow, Nemesis. They almost look the same with their covers. I guess the guy liked yellow that year. So that's how we're reading them. We're reading and you know, it's interesting that she's putting out 2 full books a year. I mean, these things are huge. So that's how we're going to read them. We've read Power Play. We're going to check in with Lost Key. And then we'll come back to Nemesis. And in the meantime, we've got some Ursula Blanchard to check in on. But this is very multi-layered. It feels like it's 2 or 3 cases. And it's more like... oh, thanks, Mookie. It feels like there's 2 or 3 cases not going on, but it's just the 2. But Natalie's case has got so many layers, and there's so many suspects. But it's like you got a group of like 10 people, and she keeps it to the core 10 for most of the book. Yeah, you've got a couple of people that come in and on. You've got her coworkers at work come in and on, but they're not, they're not substantial to the story. You don't have to really keep track of those people. You can just enjoy their angst, their goings on there. But it's interesting, Davis and Perry, it's a very microscopic relationship by the end of the book. They're just maybe stepping over the threshold, and that's about it. So it's a very in that way, it's a very PG book. It's very deep in mystery, very deep in suspects. The finger is pointed so many different ways. You're sitting there going, that's who did it. And then a couple of chapters, they may or may not have done it. And then the finger's pointed this way. And you're like, yes, I got it. And then you're like, no, not so fast. Maybe this one did it. And it turns out there's multiple peoples involved in this case. And then you've got the blast from the past in Blessed, who does his stuff. And Sherlock almost gets hurt a couple times. Like I said, I didn't see it coming. And Couch Potato here enjoyed couch time while I read the book. So I hope you have a good day. And don't forget to check out Flashback Monday and Star Trek Fridays and my daily book reviews and all the unboxing. We got some unboxing going on here like crazy. Have a good one.